Shadows of the Assassin. Chapter 1. The galaxy was broken. The Jedi were dead. The Republic was no more. Darth Maul had seen his empire fall apart before his eyes. The siege of Mandalore should have been his triumph, his final act of defiance against his former master. He had foreseen himself at the head of a new galactic order, ruling from the shadows. But instead, it had been his undoing. His Mandalorian warriors, the last remnants of his power, had been slaughtered or scattered. His throne had been ripped from his grasp. And worst of all, Sidious had won. The Empire had risen from the ashes of war, sweeping across the galaxy like an unstoppable storm. And Maul? He had barely escaped with his life. He was no stranger to loss. His master had discarded him once before, left him to rot after Kenobi had cut him down. He had clawed his way back from the abyss, reforged himself, and built something grand. And yet, here he was again, nothing but a ghost in the ruins of his own ambition, betrayed, cast aside, alone once more. With nowhere else to go, Maul had returned to Dathomir, not for solace, for there was none to be found, only ghosts. The Night Sisters were gone, slaughtered, the once mighty Night Brothers, either dead or enslaved. The fortress that had once stood as a bastion of dark power was now little more than a graveyard, overgrown with crimson mist and twisted roots. He wandered among the ruins, his boots stirring the dust of the long dead. He called out to the dark side, to the whispers of the past, to the specter of his mother's voice. But there was nothing. For weeks, perhaps even months, he remained there, meditating, seething. His mind replayed every failure, every mistake. His anger burned in him, but it had no direction, no purpose. He had always been a blade, but now he had no hand to wield him. The Sith had no use for him, and the Jedi were extinct. The galaxy belonged to Sidious. And what was he now? A warrior without a war, a king without a throne, until the dreams began. They came in flashes, visions of blood-red sands, of nameless shadows lurking beyond the stars, and always at the center of it a presence, a faint, flickering ember struggling to burn against the howling darkness. It was weak, desperate, but there was something else beneath it, something raw, untamed, a survivor. Maul had never been one to believe in fate. His life had been shaped by power and will, not destiny. And yet, the visions persisted, gnawing at him, pulling him away from Dathomir, out into the galaxy once more. So he followed them. The Outer Rim had always been a den of lawlessness, but now, with the Empire tightening its grip, it was worse than ever. The Republic had barely touched these distant worlds before its fall, and now imperial tyranny loomed just beyond the horizon. Warlords, slavers, and crime syndicates carved out their own dominions in the forgotten corners of space, ruling through fear and violence. It was in one such place, on a nameless world swallowed in endless dusk, that Maul found him. A boy. No older than 14 or 15. The settlement was a pit of rusted metal and crumbling stone, a hive of scavengers and killers, where the weak survived only by the mercy of those stronger. Maul watched from the shadows as the boy fought for his life. 4 men had him cornered in a back alley. Scavengers, by the look of them. Filthy, cruel men who thrived in the chaos of the Outer Rim. They were bigger, stronger, and armed. The boy was gaunt, his face marked by exhaustion, his clothes little more than tattered scraps. And yet he did not cower. Maul recognized the stance immediately, the subtle shift of weight, the way he held the stolen vibroblade with both precision and desperation. He had been trained, not fully, not yet, but the foundation was there. A Jedi, or what was left of one. One of the scavengers lunged. The boy sidestepped, ducking low and slashed upward. The blade cut deep into the man's arm, sending him reeling back with a cry of pain. But the boy's strike had left him open. The second attacker slammed a boot into his ribs, knocking the wind from his lungs. The third rushed in, catching the boy by the collar and hurling him against the alley wall. A sharp cry of pain escaped his lips as his back hit the jagged stone. Maul remained in the shadows, watching. The boy coughed, struggling to get up. The fourth scavenger stepped forward, kicking his vibroblade away. "Not bad, kid," one of them sneered. But not good enough. The leader raised his blaster. The boy didn't beg, didn't cry. Good. Maul moved. Before the scavengers could react, one of them collapsed, an unseen force crushing his throat. The second reached for his blaster. Maul's blade ignited in an instant, a red blur cutting him down. The third tried to run. Maul let him reach the alley's entrance, before pulling him back with a flick of his wrist, slamming him into the rusted wall with bone-shattering force. Silence. The boy lay in the dirt, blood trickling from his lip, his eyes, wide with both awe and fear, locked onto Maul's. But he did not cower. He did not beg. Interesting. Maul deactivated his saber. "You are no common thief," he said. The boy coughed, struggling to sit up. "I was a Jedi." Maul's lip curled. "Were you?" The boy hesitated. "They're dead. The clones turned on us. My master, my friends, everyone." His fists clenched. "The Jedi are gone." "Yes," Maul said, crouching beside him. "And do you mourn them?" The boy looked at him, something dangerous flickering behind his young eyes. "I mourn what they could have been." Maul studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Good. The Jedi had failed. This boy understood that. More importantly, he was not yet bound by Sith greed or Jedi weakness. He was something else, something Maul could shape. "You are lost," Maul said, standing, "alone, but you are not weak." He extended a hand. "Come with me, and I will teach you what your masters could not. I will show you how to survive in this new galaxy." The boy hesitated only a moment before taking Maul's hand. "Good," Maul said. "Then rise, my apprentice." And as the dying sun cast its last light over the world, a new shadow was born.